Peer review. It's kind of like being a spy. For each of the papers this semester, we're going to be doing a peer review session. That means that you're going to be looking at your fellow students' papers and providing feedback on them. And it also means that you'll be getting feedback on your own writing. This is how we're going to do it. The first thing to keep in mind is your draft needs to be as complete as you possibly can make it. If you turn in stuff that looks like it was written at 5 a.m. after 37 cups of coffee, you're probably not going to get great feedback. You need to have your draft done by the start of class. Here's how you'll go about doing the peer review session. You will click on Assignments and Materials and find the class session. You will see a link to Profile Essay Peer Review, and then you'll see some evaluation forms. I put some up as PDFs, but I also put them up as Word documents, and they have boxes you can fill in. You will click on Profile Essay Peer Review. Ooh, somebody's already posted one. Cool. You want to post a you're going to start your own thread, create thread, then you put a subject line. And then you put some nice message in here. Scroll down to attachments. Find out where you got your stuff. You want to upload your draft. As an attachment, click Submit. This needs to be done by the start of class. Now, once class starts, you're going to evaluate the papers of 2 of your peers from your group. So the way I want you to do that is download their paper by finding out where it's posted. Click on the name. Click Save. Download it. Then you're going to want to read it. I want you to respond using the document evaluation form, and let me open that up for you. The document evaluation form is how I want you to respond to student writing when we have peer review sessions or when we have sample student writing. Since we've already had the Punksies yesterday and today, this should be relatively clear, but let me go over a few things. I do want you to answer in at least a paragraph each, including reference to specific examples from the essay for each point. What does the paper do what it's supposed to do? How can it better respond to the central task of the assignment? Does it have a strong central claim or argument? How can it be improved? Does the paper support all claims with verifiable evidence? What types of evidence would better support the argument? Do the ideas in the paper make sense and flow in a logical order? How can the ideas be more clearly presented? Please keep in mind that if you say everything looks great, I'm going to assume that you didn't actually read the paper. There is always room for improvement, and it's your job to point out lower order concerns. I don't want you editing the paper. I don't want you to tell them every single thing that might possibly be wrong, but point out, is the writing mechanically clean? You have many comma splices, including the first sentence. Something like that would be perfectly fine for this section. Final comments. Please address overall strengths and weaknesses in a couple sentences. Provide at least one piece of directive feedback. Tell the reader what to do or what not to do during the revision process. You need to clear up your sentence structure, but more importantly, in terms of argument, you need to expand on point 3. Please also provide one big piece of facilitative feedback. Ask the writer to more critically engage with their work in terms of argument analysis or some other perspective. While you write on the financial aspect of nightclubs, you should also look into how they draw in their audiences, something along that lines. When you're finished with it, you will save it, you will close it, and then in a reply to wherever you downloaded the draft, you will click on the reply button, you'll click on Browse My Computer, you will upload your completed document evaluation form, and you'll put a nice message. You will click on the Submit button, and you will double check to make sure it goes up. You need to do this by the end of the day. The important thing about peer writing to remember is that the real role of it here is not just to give you feedback on your own paper. That's important, and it's really wonderful when it happens. But students have consistently told me that if they take the peer review session seriously, they get more out of looking at other people's papers than they do out of the feedback on their own. It wasn't what I expected at first, but it really makes sense when you think about it. It's a lot easier to see mistakes on someone else's work than it is to see stuff on your own. When you look at someone else's paper, it's going to help you come closer to developing that critical perspective, which will allow you to tear apart your own paper. And being able to tear apart your own paper is an ultimate goal here. It's one of the best things you can do. But in order to do that, you've got to be able to point out things that aren't working and start to think about what's working and not working. And hopefully this exercise will help you do that. See you in the next video.